Introduce themselves, starting to my left.
Michael Rendino, the Bronx County Republican Commissioner.
Simon Shamoon, Kings Republican.
Frederick Humane, Manhattan Republican.
Michael Michelle, Queens Republican.
Julie Dent, Brooklyn Democrat. Welcome, everyone.
All right, we have the minutes. Has anyone had an opportunity to read the minutes?
Oh, staff, senior staff.
Oh, I'm sorry, senior staff. I'm new to this.
He's new to it.
Kenneth Malkin, Council Commissioner.
Steve Denver, Council Commissioner.
Oh, go ahead.
Nina M. Crispino, Director of Personnel.
Valerie Vasquez, Director of Communications.
Gerald Sullivan, Finance Officer.
Matt Graves, candidate record. And Steve Richmond, General Counsel.
All right, the minutes from July 15th. Has anyone had an opportunity to read them? Second? All right, all in favor? Any opposition or abstains? Motion carries, the minutes are adopted. Please put them up on the website. All right, we're going to go to Steve Richmond and Matt Graves for a detailed schedule on the designated petition and hearings.
Commissioners, in your folders is the draft schedule, which has been prepared based on three factors. The number of specifications of objections that were filed through midnight last night in each of the boroughs, the ability of the board staff to comply with your rules require that they complete the clerk's reports 24 hours before the hearing, as well as the New York State court system's calendar for election matters, which are also going to be running next week as well. The recommendation is that on Tuesday, we begin at 11 with Richmond County. The board meeting is at 1, Bronx at 1:30, and New York County at 2:30. And then on Wednesday, Queens at 10 and Brooklyn at 1. Kings County has the most specs right now, 42.
Just a question. How many challenges does Richmond have? Four. They have four, so could we schedule New
But
York?
there's also prima facie commissioners and the enrollment issue, so that's probably going to
Well, I
take a
spoke
half hour.
to, I'm sorry, if I may, I spoke to Mike County and we can go Monday. So if we want to do it Tuesday morning, that's fine
Commissioners,
too.
all the notices to all the candidates, including the rules, said Tuesday, Wednesday, and possibly
Right, so there's
Thursday.
over a week, we could send out the notices.
I think you may run into a due process argument. In addition,
What, Steve, explain to me what the due process argument is.
we've
What's the rule?
told
The rules they have to
candidates and their
have-
attorneys to
Right.
appear Tuesday and
Okay.
Wednesday,
Right,
and now you're gonna change it. As a private practitioner, you may know, you may have already scheduled stuff for Monday, you may not be able to appear. And to do just one borough coming in,
and what's our duty, to give them 24-hour notice?
well, no, that's the clerk's reports. The
Right.
question is, it's a question of giving adequate notice in advance so that the attorneys, if they did retain them, can arrange their schedules.
It seems like, never mind, I'll stay quiet, thank you.
So you're looking for a motion to adopt the
And if
calendar?
that's the case, we would then post that and, on the website and also at the front counter. And under the rules, that's supposed, the calendar says that they should call this afternoon after 4 p.m. to get a detailed breakdown by
What's
month.
the calendar? I'm sorry, I walked in late, I missed.
Do you have a printout of the calendar?
Yes,
Is it
it's in your
somewhere?
folders, Commissioners, with the heading draft with today's date from Matt and myself.
Specs have been going out as soon as they've been coming in and also have been worked, so we've been monitoring the specs. I just think that it's being prolonged and it could be done
Look
sooner.
at that, sure, because Queens is on Wednesday, right?
All right, I move we adopt the schedule as suggested by council.
Is there a second? All in favor? Any opposition?
I'm opposed.
Any abstentions? You'll abstain?
No, you need 6 votes.
The motion doesn't carry?
You have 7 commissioners.
Okay, is there a motion to change the calendar?
Yeah. What's the date? 'Cause I didn't get it. The time and stuff.
Now to start. Tuesday at least earlier than 11.
Some of us have other schedule based on.
I think we could start earlier on Tuesday. I don't think it has to be at 11 o'clock. I think we could start earlier. Staten Island is done. The Bronx received their specs. They worked what they received. They got more last night, but not anything that's major. Brooklyn, he has 42. I have 11. Diane's been updating me, and they're moving along nicely. I just think that it's being dragged out too many days. It doesn't have to go to Thursday.
Well, hopefully it wouldn't get to Thursday. The idea is that if we get everything done in time for the first day with the 24-hour rule, then we can finish up certainly in 2 days. And I don't know what the total specs are citywide, but I don't know how many we can get through. I mean, if we could do it all on Tuesday, then we could do it all on, but I don't know if Brooklyn and Queens are gonna be done in time.
And there's, part of the issue, as council alluded to as well, is we're trying to accommodate the court schedule and of the attorneys that are involved that have to come as well. We've received phone calls about conflicts. 2 of the attorneys I know, one for Manhattan and one for the Bronx, both have election-related litigation matters on at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. So we originally were going to have Staten Island and try to start on Monday, but then to accommodate the commissioners and the needs of council, we figured we would move Staten Island to Tuesday morning to allow time for both the Manhattan and Bronx attorneys to get here so that they could do it. And then we also had an issue about a conflict with counsel from Brooklyn that couldn't do Tuesday. So that's how that went into Wednesday. So we're trying to juggle, all the concerns of everyone and get everything done in a fair way and give people an opportunity to be heard. And that's really how it landed this way. And we came up with this recommendation.
Is there an issue with 10? Can we change Staten Island from 11 o'clock to 10 o'clock?
That's fine.
Because the only reason we didn't do that, because since the court cases in Manhattan, then at 10, you may not have anybody here at 11 to do some of those cases. So if you want to bifurcate them, I
Well,
guess
could we do
It's a rolling
Bronx?
calendar, isn't it?
Could we do Bronx second?
The Bronx,
Bronx has the same problem as Manhattan. on
Right.
well,
Tuesday.
on the councils for some of the Bronx matters are engaged.
Right.
On the prima facie.
Well,
we have as well.
so the thought that we had in trying to compile this was, if we started at 11 and Staten Island went through, and then there was a break for lunch, after the 11 o'clock hearings were completed,
Start at 1 with the
then
court
we could
case.
start at 1 o'clock with
And run through that afternoon.
and run through the afternoon with Manhattan and the Bronx.
Yeah, but 1 o'clock we're doing a stated meeting, so if
But we're not anticipating that that's going to be a long agenda.
How about this? How about doing all of the prima facies Tuesday morning?
Some of the attorneys would want to be there on the prima facies, and we've always done it within the borough so that they're only here once. Specifically, in the case of Brooklyn, several councils cannot be here on Tuesday.
So, it's a bit of a juggling act, and certainly, we're trying to accommodate everyone's needs.
I'll renew my motion.
anyone second it? No? All right, let's just table this and get through the rest of the agenda, and we'll come back to it. Michael Ryan?
Yes. Item 2A, I hesitate to use the phrase pro forma when you're talking about in excess of a $20 million contract, but this is as pro forma of an approval as I can ask for the commissioners. This is the renewal that is just memorializing the contract that was negotiated with the State Board of Elections for the balance of the ES&S term, which will run from June 1st, which has already passed. The reason that we're in this situation is there was the timing of the state approval had to go through the State Board process. So they approved it. Once it got approved, then we had to put it through the city process with DCAS and the Mayor's Office on Contracts and the Law Department. Everybody's passed on it. This is straightforward, a contract not to exceed $20,300,000. Clearly, the way these contracts work is it doesn't mean that it's a $20 million contract. It is worded specifically as a not to exceed for that reason, because if the cost is less than that over that time, then they will only, ES&S will only be paid for that portion of the contract that they provided services. And what I am requiring is a motion permitting myself as the executive director to affix my signature to this contract, essentially to memorialize the state contract.
This is too big, I think, to rubber stamp. And I think that we should have an opportunity to, I guess, review whatever underlying documents are in connection with this. What are they obligated to do and for what price and all of that sort of stuff. I know it's been vetted by the state board and apparently the city Department of Finance and everything else, but are they vetting just this form agreement, or are they reviewing the whole project in terms of what E&S is going to be doing? I mean, you guys, some of us went out to sort of give them some ideas. Or is that included in this? Is it separate?
No, that's not included in it. This was, the negotiation happens between the state and ES&S. So where we would be, by doing this, memorializing the state agreement so that it meets the requirements of the city contracting. So all we're really doing under these circumstances is creating a mechanism for payment, as I understand it. If there are questions that the commissioners have, I certainly appreciate that, and given the size of it, the number is always startling when you're dealing with these kinds of things, because it's a big number. So if there's any questions that the commissioners might have, we can certainly answer them, and tabling this.
Let's do this. I believe there's a finance committee, subcommittee.
Yeah.
Let's have the finance subcommittee meet with executive management, go over any concerns that they may have, and obviously all the commissioners are invited to that meeting. And then you just come back to us, and hopefully that will curtail anybody's questions with respect to that
I mean,
contract.
there were issues in terms of printing and all sorts of things where
The
you got
print-
price
yeah, the
reduction.
printing is now being handled in a separate contract,
Well,
and
that's-
as a
you see,
separate,
but-
as a separate
but-
procurement. Yeah, no, well, I'm just, I get it, I understand where the questions are coming from. So, but the printing is a completely separate matter that was parsed out of the original contract, and it's gonna have a separate contract that goes into effect ultimately January 1st, 2015. So there'll be overlap, but it's two separate contracts at this point.
Well, I remember we only approved the 1-year printing arrangement, I thought.
Yes, but
Maybe I'm getting senile,
well,
which is.
no, I think you got it right, but the reason that was done, it was an extension to allow for the completion of the RFP process that was done, that was recently completed, where we had discussed over the last few weeks that there was an approval of the 3 vendors, and there's going to be questions about how that work gets parsed out amongst the 3 vendors. But that'll all be part of that separate RFP process, which is not fully completed yet, but it's expected to be ultimately implemented for January 1st, 2015. So the printing is not the subject of this. This is all about,
So
the
is
servicing of the machines and the things that we need.
What
to
about
get done.
software, is that in this?
It's,
All right,
and
I
it
guess
depends.
I'm on the finance committee.
Right,
I
yeah,
don't mean to
exactly
put-
right.
I don't mean to put
Right.
you
No,
on the
no.
spot.
And I don't feel put on the spot.
So let's have
What
a
I-
finance
But what I'm
committee
saying
meeting,
is,
I think.
it is, with the software stuff, it's always, and it depends, because it's a question of whether it's simply a routine upgrade versus whether it's a wholesale change and
Okay,
those
all right,
things,
so let's do it as it's
Gotcha.
suggested.
Okay.
And
And then, with respect to 2B, I would defer to legal general counsel on this issue.
Before we get to 2B, just going back to 2A, can you generate an email reminding the commissioners of who's on the subcommittee and what the date of the meeting will be? So if any other commissioners want to attend, they could attend.
maybe we could do it after Staten Island, next Tuesday, just to get,
And how soon do you need a response?
Well, I mean,
can it go past the hearings
Look,
to the following Tuesday?
we're already beyond the date, so ES&S is working at risk. So we're already beyond the date. I mean, whether we're beyond the date a week or 2 weeks more is really of not tremendous import. The fact of the matter is, we are, for the foreseeable future, a partnership with ES&S, unless that changes, 4 or 5 years from now. So we'll continue to work with them, and I don't believe it's going to interrupt our working relationship with them. So, I get the fact that it's a big number, and everybody wants to make sure that all the i's are dotted and all the t's are crossed.
All right, so let's shoot for 2 weeks, and hopefully the subcommittee can meet way before then, and we'll clear on before then.
Okay.
All right? All right, so back to 2B. It's a request from Steve Richmond to have a subcommittee appointed for additional cover sheet review, and you're asking for Friday, the 25th? Is that correct?
That will be, yes, we had a committee that met on Friday and was issued some additional MCN so that they would be in by Wednesday night. Also, the cures would be due by Thursday. So the point we're asking for, possibly if we get anything, one more meeting on Friday, anything else would then be, if we got cures on Monday or Tuesday, would be brought during the hearings to the full board.
How heavy do you think the review will be on Friday?
Well, if today's review is an indication, we've got 6 items, so I think it'll be about the same number.
Okay, if that's the case, I will volunteer for Friday, but I will ask if the Republican side will be the Queens Commission, if we could do that review in Queens. Okay?
3
So,
o'clock?
3 o'clock.
Good.
So I'll put myself and Commissioner Michelle, if it's all right with you, in Queens. Just put it on the web. Thanks. All right, anybody have any additions to the agenda? No? All right, so do you want to, we're going to have to revisit the issue with respect to the scheduling. The question that I have, if Tuesday's an issue, can we set in stone Wednesday and then deal with Tuesday separately?
There
is no
Thank you. And again, I apologize for coming in late, but did you say, is Queens ready to go Tuesday or no?
No, we're on Wednesday.
You definitely
Queens
on
and
Wednesday.
Brooklyn is on Wednesday.
All right, so
Okay.
if you want to start earlier, then we could do that on Tuesday, but I guess we're trying to be nice to everybody, so that's why,
Yeah.
well, that's why I thought we could have the
Very cool.
finance
Yeah,
committee
right.
meeting after Staten Island, and everybody could participate.
Right.
And 20 million bucks, it's worth, it's worth looking at. My
So,
own personal-
yeah, so if we adopt the change for Tuesday, July 29th, Richmond County at 10 a.m., is there a motion to adopt that?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? Any abstain? All right, the calendar carries for Tuesday, July 29th. And can we have a motion to adopt Wednesday, July 30th, and Thursday, July 31st? Possibly, if necessary. I'll move that. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Any opposition or abstention? All right, the motion carries. Please post these dates and times
The full
on the
numbers will be
website.
pushed up this afternoon, yes.
Excellent. All right, is there anything else for the agenda?
No.
Anyone want to move to finish the hearing? Finish the meeting?
I move we adjourn.
Forgot the word. Second, all in favor? Finish up, really bust them up.
Put the tape back on, and then we do the meeting.
Staten Island wants to add something to agenda.
Actually, investment of time. At this point,
What is it?
we need Manhattan now.
Right, this is actually Manhattan.
Renee Hill, a Manhattan Democrat, BMT permanent employees requesting 10 days of advancement of time, which I'm granting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition or abstentions? All right, the motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, adjourned. Now the subcommittee.